there, everyone. It's Brett from Brett Killen's Pro Gaming and Reviews, here to give you my take on the ominous third-person shooter called Control. Alrighty, let's get straight down to it. So you start off the game of Control in an office building. After a little bit of exploring, you find out that our protagonist Jessie is on a big, massive mission to save her brother from the Bureau of Control, which own the building that you're currently in. The really cool thing about the building is that it actually moves a lot of the time by itself, which is not only cool for the gunfights that you have in it, but also gives you this really cool feeling of Inception / Doctor Strange every time you're fighting everything around you. Now, Jessie can't do this by herself. When she starts the game, it is very, very clear that you have an entity inside your head.
This way to the lab? Okay. You must like these HRAs. Sounds like Darling built them.
Now, this entity isn't really explained very well at the start of the game, and as you go through the story, it does kind of latch onto it a little bit, and the story is fucking good, so the game is worth it just for that alone. But the entity inside your head leads you to everywhere that you need to go, makes all of your primary objectives very easily lit up, and just generally gives you advice throughout the game. Accompanied by that is a strange gun that Jessie picks up very, very early in the game, which kind of acts as not only your pistol, but also your shotgun, sniper rifle, every type of gun that you can think of by getting upgrades. Not only is there upgrades for these weapons as well, but there is also a whole telekinetic arsenal that you can get, whether that is controlling people, picking up objects and throwing them, or several other things. The telekinetic powers that you get throughout the game are done through Dreamscape type of tutorial levels to kind of show you what you can do, and then they give you a few enemies straight afterwards to say, hey, you got that new skill, why don't you test it out on those poor motherfuckers? And when you do, you find out how cool it is. Almost all of the skills I continued to use throughout the game because I thought all of them were quite fun, complemented each other, and they were just generally fun to use. A really cool thing is about all these different styles of play that you can use, there is actually like a lottery system in it for creating upgrades, or you can just generally find upgrades a lot of the time from fallen enemies. You can attach all of these and get certain upgrades to be able to hold more, so that you can create the playstyle that you really want, whether or not that is to have more energy so you can throw more shit, or to have more ammunition, or to do more damage. It's completely up to you, and you can build it to the style that you like. So it's pretty easy to get the grips of how to play this game, and everyone's probably wondering why you're starting off with the combat. It's actually because the combat, even though it is really fun, does get a little bit repetitive, but it is quite fun for the majority of this game. It's actually one of its weaker aspects compared to the visualization and the story that you get in it. There are so many cool aspects in this game, and one of them is actually the bad guys themselves. Not only is there the actual bad guys that are supposedly trying to come over into this realm and wreak havoc, but there is also smaller entities as well. These can infiltrate almost anything and have really random little storylines that go with them, like a mirror, for instance, that if you look into it, you go into a parallel universe. Or a rubber duck, for example, that you have to chase for some strange reason.
Quack, if you can understand my words.
Some of these hold really cool side missions, and some of them also have really cool optional bosses that are also in the game just for you to explore and just generally grind your character to a harder level, just so it's a little bit easier throughout the later half of the game. The enemies are actually really cool and quite unforgiving. If you are hit in a few hits, you will die, so a lot of the time you have to plan accordingly for the enemies that you're about to face. Not only that, but there are so many different types that you'll find yourself having to jump, dash, throw things back that they throw at you, and it creates like a puzzle for almost every fight. But the game also has small things worth noting as well, like the fact that she can pick up not only items to throw at people, but if she doesn't have anything to pick up with her telekinetic powers, she'll actually rip out a chunk of the earth to throw it instead. All these little things, from the telekinetic powers to the guns, to the bad guys, to the story itself, to even just the text when you're entering a new area, all these things kind of keep you gripped, and it feels like you're in the middle of a psychological thriller and you've got to find your way out. The story and the gameplay tends to drag on just a little bit, but it seems like almost every time it does, they throw something new at you to kind of keep you revamped, or just a little twist that makes gameplay a little bit harder, or the gunfights just a little bit harder. So overall, Jessie's story of trying to save her brother is actually a pretty good one, and I really enjoyed the game, so I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. Now, that's pretty high rating, but it's well deserved for its 20-hour campaign. This game is absolutely incredible, so make sure you pick it up, guys. If you wanted to play this game, now you know you should. If If you didn't want to play this game, you fucking should. Control was a visual masterpiece and an absolute breath of fresh air to the third-person shooter genre. Alrighty guys, so that was my take on Control. So please let me know what you think of it, whether or not you had a difference in opinion or whether or not you love the game yourself. Tell me everything about it. Also subscribe to all of our channels, so we have Twitch, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Just look up Beretta Killins, Facebook, Instagram, like me on all that shit. Do that supportive crap that I like so much. It'll be good. Alright, thanks guys for listening, and we'll see you next time. Beretta Killins out.